Sarah, what up, E?
What's going on? Man, those are some nice medals.
Yeah, man, these are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of them.
Well, that's nothing like going to March Madness, though.
We did go to a national championship.
Okay, guys, whatever. Let's just get on the Montana party bus and head over to Press Box for lunch.
Yeah.
Nuanez now and Skyline Sports, covering Montana athletics and the Big Sky Conference better than anybody. The Montana Party Bus and the Press Box are also proud supporters of Montana athletes.
Hey, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to Montana. Cheers to chasing more championships.
Did you know that the vast majority of storage unit companies around Montana are being bought up by private equity firms? If you want to do business with a family-owned, locally operated storage company, you want to do business with Copperstone Storall. Copperstone Storall Storage Units is Montana's largest boat and RV facility, and a new expansion is on the horizon, offering even more premier, spacious units to store everything from boats to RVs, campers to trailers. Find the perfect sized unit today at Copperstone Storall. Visit online at copperstonestorage.com or call 728-STORE. That's 728-STOR. Well, back for another week, and now we actually get some Big Sky Conference action to at least try to preview. It's been such a weird first month because of all the varying natures of the schedules. Jordan Tripp joining us here on the Big Sky Breakdown. Let's start there. What do you think of that element? Because even back to when you were playing with the Griz, there's always, up games, down games. But now it's just so all over the place, man. Like you got multiple teams in the Big Sky that have played 2 FBSs. Like Idaho State's played 2 FBSs and also Lincoln College, wherever the heck that is, and they beat them 90-0. So it's so hard to gauge. And also there's this extra non-conference game now too. So there's just so much weird stuff. I just feel like you can't really gauge truly anybody until you get into conference play. But what do you think of just how wild it is this time of year with all the just different schedules that all these teams have to play?
The array of teams that are played prior to pre-conference is, you said it, very hard to judge because you have North Dakota, who plays Kansas State, and then they come play here. It's like, okay, so then you don't know until you play them, and then you go, all right, well, okay, Idaho plays Washington State and San Jose State. Well, what's that say about Idaho and Washington State? What's it say about North Dakota and Kansas State? There's just no way of telling, like you said, until you get into conference and teams start playing each other on a regular basis, one. And then also, I mean, the second component to that would be you got to have a queue of games. I mean, more than 2 or 3 or 4 games to kind of decide and see, well, how do they do against this front? How do they do against the spread? How do they do against? I mean, there's just no way to tell, man. It's just too hard.
There's this notion, though, I think coaches would repeat this, that if you play top level competition, it does help you because it challenges you.
No doubt.
You played some FBS. Tennessee? Did you go to Tennessee?
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so you played Wyoming, I think, too.
Yeah. So
does it actually help you?
I think it does. I think whenever you have a chance to play against a good opponent, but against say your matchup all day is against a really elite back or offensive lineman or defensive lineman or corner or whatever, I think that if you're a competitor, it's going to raise your level of play and demand the best out of you. So when you have to go play a good opponent like Montana did in North Dakota and they pull out a win, or you go see Idaho, I don't care what you say. I mean, they went to Washington State, they went to San Jose State, they lost on a field goal by both. They're a good ball club. Those are 2 good ball clubs coached by good coaches, in my opinion. Now, how they fare down, the rest of the season, whatever. I mean, who the hell knows? But it's just so hard to gauge, man. But I think that when you play against superior talent or equal talent, it makes you better. When you play against inferior, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't. You can get away with a lot of things.
Totally. It gives you confidence too, right?
It does.
Like I had Carson Williams, who's the number 8 from Montana State. I had him on my radio show today.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that got run over by Kenyon Sadiq, the future first round draft pick from Oregon. But I asked him about it. He's like, yeah, man, that was the first time. He's a redshirt freshman. He's like, that's the first time I tried to put my head across the bow in a college football game. And he's like, yeah, man, I got run over. But guess what? Like, I'm not going to tackle anybody that's like that guy. So I have a lot of
No.
confidence that if I do that exact same tackle, it's going to
I'll be all
work.
right.
Everybody
Yeah.
else we play against, right? So it seems like it does build confidence in guys.
It does. It's funny that you interviewed him and you said that because that's the other thing. When you start to play against top tier talent and elite talent, whether it's week in and week out or sporadically, it's going to demand the best out of you. At the same time, you're going to get got. Like you're going to get
Right.
you're going to get put in the trunk, man. Period. Like that's it. I mean, they're going to put you in the trunk, and it's just going to happen. Like I've watched film of Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly get taken for a ride by an offensive guard or offensive tackle, and then on the contrary, I've seen all pro offensive linemen get flat buckled. I've seen Trent Williams get buckled. I mean,
Totally.
that's when you see top tier guys go at each other. I mean, you're gonna get ran through it, but it makes you better. It makes you like, hey, what would I do differently here? Where do I need to be in my alignment to get an edge on this guy, to be more physical? I mean, those are the things that you start to do when you play against that type of talent. You can't get away with having a poor alignment on a stretch scheme and setting the edge against a good opponent. I mean, you're just not. So anyway,
So where
Thanks so much for listening to the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series and for tuning into our Skyline Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to both the podcast and all your various podcast hosting networks and to the YouTube channel as well. Thanks to our great partners, including Ryan Miller and Coburn Law. Ryan Miller and Coburn are ace attorneys, each with different expertise. Paul Ryan, the master when it comes to DUIs. Angie Miller, excellent in medical malpractice. Abigail Coburn, federal drug charges. She's the one you want defending you. They can help in any and all sorts of criminal defense cases. They have a live answering service that's available 24 hours a day, 406-542-2233. You can also visit rmcattorneys.com. Ryan and Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. Let's hear from RMC right now. So tell me about just the behind the scenes for the firm expansion from just a branding and promotions standpoint.
Yeah, so I love the branding aspect of the business. That is something that I don't know why, but it's like my little creativity outlet. And so when we were looking at doing the rebrand, we had our diamonds and we wanted to kind of update those to incorporate, where we were going. And so we talked about it. And one of the big things that drives us is that we are that link from our clients to justice, that we, get them to justice that they deserve. And so that's kind of where those 3 diamonds came into play and that inner link to represent us connecting our clients to justice. And it really hits home for us.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up. Oh, yeah.
Where do you think we're at then with the Griz coming in this Idaho game? Because Idaho has an extra game. They've also played 2 FBS opponents where they had close calls. Montana sort of had an incremental build because this is like the opposite side of the spectrum, right? Like Bobby Houck a lot of times has favored having, maybe a quote unquote lighter non-conference schedule so he can play as many guys as he can, get as many guys as he wants ready.
Yep.
Yeah, I know a lot of that stuff's out of his control too because, he doesn't make the schedule. It's not like men's basketball where the coach makes the schedule. It's the administration. Right. But either way, it is completely opposite schedules to this lead into this showdown between Idaho and Montana. Just in terms of the challenges they faced, the amount of games they played, all that. So where do you think you were at with the Griz just in terms of their sort of incremental build into this matchup?
Yeah, so Montana's first game, I think Central Washington had obviously some good players, but they're not a Washington State or a San Jose State. So you're sitting here comparing, going, well, who has the upper hand on game preparation? I could argue that North Dakota could beat all 3 teams 2 teams, including Idaho. I could make that argument. I think that they could all 3 of those schools could make the argument that they'd beat North Dakota and Montana.
Sure.
And so the order that you play them in is, to me, it's kind of like, a lot of hypothetical, which I try to stay away from, but for the sake of our discussion right here, let's do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that Idaho's definitely played a tougher group. I don't know if they played as good of a team, and I mean that North Dakota team was a damn good team,
I thought they
and
were really good. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I think they're going to cause a lot of problems this year if they can stay on track. But I mean, you throw on the tape for Idaho, they got a they got a good outfit, in particular in my opinion on defense. They have a really good defense. Their front is physical, fast, and they can get after your ass pretty good. So I think the Idaho's played a tougher group. Montana, I don't know if they played a tougher team. It's going to be interesting to see how they match up because Idaho loves to chew the clock, man. And that's kind of their whole bravada. I mean, they want to keep the ball away from the explosive opportunities, limit the explosive opportunities, and just, convert on third down and just keep moving the chains.
And other than just like transitive properties where you're comparing matchups and matchups, I mean, one of the most striking quotes I ever got in my career was in 2019, Weber State came to Missoula and they got absolutely just destroyed. Dante Olson was at the peak of his powers. He knocked Josh Davis out of the game right
Yeah.
away. The quarterback got hurt, the tight end got hurt, and they got boat raced. They got their asses kicked and
Yeah.
they got ran out of Missoula. But Jay Hill, the head coach of Weber State, who's one of the most tempered and stoic guys I've ever covered. He sat up at the post-game press conference and first of all, he took it like a man, but secondly, he said, "Hey, this game is very simple. Montana played excellent today, and we played terrible." And he's like,
Mhm.
"We did not play our best game, and they did play their best game, and that's how it goes, and we got beat." He's like, "But I can't wait to see those guys again." And then what happened? 2 weeks
Yeah.
later, Weber State beat Montana in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, you can do all these different, these guys, these guys, these guys.
So true.
At the end of the day, it's like who plays well on Saturdays. That's what's going to actually determine what happens in any of the games, let alone this matchup on Saturday night.
It is that could not be said any better. I mean, when you show up and you play your best ball and someone doesn't play their best ball or they just don't play their best game, I mean, it's such a different it's such a different perspective. Now that you bring
Yep.
2019 up, I think of 2008, same team, Weber State. I mean,
Right,
Montana
right.
goes down there and gets their ass kicked like 42 to
Yep.
18, 42 to
Yep.
20, and then Weber
Yep.
State comes back up and gets the break speed off of them in the
Yep.
playoffs. Complete opposite, but it's just one of those things. It's football, man, and that's why we play. But I mean, you can, I think, get a good gauge on. I mean, the coaches do it every week on how you're going to prepare and what you think is going to work based off of who they've played and what they've had success versus what they haven't had success in doing. So I think that Idaho has had an extremely hard schedule out of the gate. I think that they've played against good talent, relatively speaking, and I think Montana has had a tough matchup in North Dakota. Indiana State, I think, I mean, they couldn't hang. I think they had some good players. They just weren't a complete football team, and they played god awful down the stretch. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they match up. I know that both teams are going to come in geeked up, ready to go. I can tell you that much.
Washington Griz got Indiana State last week too,
Oh my
right?
God.
Everybody
That-
left after halftime because they knew they did their jobs. But man, that 28-point run
Yeah.
where Gilman scores the 49-yard touchdown, Griz go 3-and-out. Then they get the nice systematic drive. Ayat scores on the quarterback keeper.
Yep.
Then Tulia Pupu comes off the edge, smashes him, scoop and score. And, at that point, like the stadium shaking, and
It's-
the
it
other
was-
team is like tapping out, waving the white flag.
They didn't know what the heck. That's so true. Washington Grizz got them because they put up a good fight out of the gate, and
They
were
did,
doing
yeah.
some good stuff, and they were in their game plan. And I was in the booth, and I looked over to Trey, and I said, if they can stay in their game plan, they're not going to be in trouble. I mean, they had a good. I mean, that Rochelle was a good receiver. They
Yep.
had a couple of good backs. Those two interior defensive linemen were studs, and that safety was a stud. And I thought that they could have, if they didn't let it get away from them, I thought they could have done some good things. I mean, that's the same type of team that beat North Dakota last year and took
Right.
North Dakota State to overtime 2 years ago. There's a lot of the same personnel on that team, but they had they had they had Washington Grizz happen, man. I mean, jump offside a few times, you get a touchdown, and then a sack fumble, and then you can't hear yourself think. And I mean, that happens to a lot of teams. I mean, it's a real thing. It's a real component to football.
Yeah, we've talked about Ayada and Gilman a lot on this, so we'll save that for another week. But I want to ask
Yeah.
you about Tulia Pupu, man. I had him on the radio show this week. I mean, what a story! National High School Player of the Year, and then he just gets completely avalanched by injuries, but somehow, some way, he's still playing. And his wife has like a connection to the Bitterroot Valley, and she like used to go to Lolo. I saw this guy.
How does that happen?
Right? He came to the press conference last week, and then we were walking out together, and he's got a wife and kids, and I'm like, dude, are me and you the same age? Like, what's going on here? Like, we're in the same
Looks like he's a
spot.
40-year-old grown man.
We're like in the same spot in life, and this guy's still playing college football. Either way, what a crazy story! What a great story! But man, if he can continue to make progress, he's going to be a problem for the rest of the Big Sky.
He is a problem. Talking to Tim Houck a couple weeks ago, just I came down to practice and you see guys on tape and you see guys when
Right.
you're watching a game from the stands and he walks by and I hit Tim like on the shoulder and I was just like he looks good. I'm like that's a big dude and
Yeah.
he goes yeah he's like but then I said before that I said he can run and he said he goes yeah you see why USC recruited him.
Right.
And I mean, when you watch him on tape, when you watch him during the game, when you see the way that he plays, and then you see him in person, he looks like the National High School Player of the Year. I mean, he's
That's
a
right.
big, athletic, strong
That's
dude, and
right.
when he's healthy, I mean that move that he had on their left tackle to make the sack, like the dip up and under, and it was, I mean, he bend. I mean, that was a hell of a bend, and he perfect. I mean, it was a hell of a hit, but there's been a couple of stretch plays too where he's got to the perimeter and got off the blocks, and it's just like holy moly, man, this kid is a problem. That you can't block him with a tight end. Hell, they can't block him with a tackle, and that's a dream to play linebacker or safety behind because it's just like pick your side, man, and I'll just fit off of you because this dude can freaking. I mean, he's got some serious knockback, and it's fun to watch. I mean, he can. They call it the rail, man. Like when he's pressuring off the edge. I mean, he's not widening. He's not creating depth. He's not. I mean, he's on his track and he's staying on it. It's pretty fun to watch. I mean, we haven't had a lot of guys that could do that. Zach Wagman was one of them, but yeah,
So it's wild because I keep saying there's a lot of different ways to be 6'3", 250. Right? Like there's a lot of different body builds, a lot of different
Mhm.
things. Like the guys that, and I'm not saying he's NFL good, but like the guys that go to the NFL are like that play in the
He
NFL
looks like that.
He looks. This is a completely unfair comparison, but he looks like Junior Seau. Like that's what
He
his
looks
body
exactly. He looks exactly his makeup, his build. He's long.
Yep,
He's got
long.
extremely strong lower half,
Yep,
and he snaps when he hits you. I mean,
Yep.
and he's got very violent, heavy hands when he hits you. It's fun to watch him hit an offensive tackle or a puller or just on contact on the ball carrier because he does snap his hips well. And I mean, just really hope that he can continue to stay healthy and have the season that he's continuing to have, that he's been having and continue to have it because you have to account for him on offense, the way that you block
Yep.
certain things. If you're going to block a zone one way, 1 week, you can't block it the same way against him. It's not going to work. So you have to account for him. And there's a few other guys on defense that Montana has. One of them, Caleb Luske, he's coming along.
Coming along,
He's
for
another
sure.
long, explosive, strong athlete, and he's a problem to deal with. I mean, when you see him on pressure, and he doesn't have to think. You see him flash and do certain things it kind of gives you a little glimpse of what he's capable of. And he's a young kid. But guys like that, we haven't had here in a while, and it's fun to watch how the coordinators use them.
Hello, my name is Kelly Ayat, quarterback at the University of Mount Tampa. In the off-season, it's important to do everything you can to prepare for the season. In high school, that means funding your program. In my experience, Vertical Raise is the ultimate online fundraiser platform. They'll broaden your reach of your fundraiser and bring in more money than other platforms. And there are no sneaky or hidden fees like other companies. If you're trying to raise money for your program, reach out to Vertical Raise today.
Maybe an open-ended question, but if I was to ask you who is Five Valleys Restoration, how would you answer that?
It's definitely not me anymore. It was, when I first started it, I became the face of it, but it's very much, I don't think it's any one person anymore. It's very much, I think we're a staff of 29 today, and we have built it with, it's not 1 year people, 2 year people. Obviously Mark and I are the ones that sit at the top, but we have guys that have been there, guys and gals that have been there for 10, 8, 7, 5 years. We have a group that's come together, and we recognize that taking care of our people will help them become the face of the company too. So we try to treat them in any manner that we can. Our guys did a big bowling event yesterday where they just all came together, watched football, went bowling, and I don't even think Mark and I were invited. So it was kind of nice. They did their own thing, which we were perfectly okay with because it's to build some camaraderie. Oh, yeah, we're always looking to add to our team. We are actively growing. We could do even more work than we're doing now, but we're building our staff, and we always like to build it the right way. We try not to just put a warm body in any spot, bring them on, bring an individual on, train them the way we like them to be trained, and put them out there to be the best for our clients.
It is. It's been fun. I've been very impressed with their defense. I think they're all still kind of finding their way in terms of who needs to be where, but it's a just wholesale upgrade from where they were at last year. Not to dog on any of those guys, but it's a wholesale upgrade from where they were at a year ago.
It's the truth. It is.
So other guy that has stood out to me on defense, and Pro Football Focus has put out their first month grades of FCS guys, is Micah Harper. I know they've been rotating their safeties a lot, and we talked about that last week, like the strategy behind that. But that guy's a talented player too, and he has a similar story to Tula Pupu, right? Like he was a freshman All-American, and then he just got hurt and got buried and all that stuff. But I think he's been impressive. What have you thought? What sort of things do you think he does well?
He runs well.
Yeah, he runs really well.
Very strong. I think probably the best thing he has, and this is hard to tell because I don't talk to the kid, and I don't sit with him in meeting rooms, and I think instincts can get too much clout when there's a kid who does well at studying and can anticipate. So I think instincts are a part of it. In a defense that the 3-3-5 that Tim and Roger run, there's a lot of moving parts, and you got to know where you're going. You can't just play off of instincts per se. This isn't a cover 3 defense where you just have a hook and you get 10 yards deep and 1 yard outside the hash. You got to know where you're moving, where the rotation's going, where your responsibilities are. And I think he has a really high football IQ.
Yeah.
And he's in the right spot, and he's got a really good coach, and his talents, he's healthy, are coming to life. He's a really talented football player. He's good in space, and we haven't had a safety. We've had smart guys and fast guys and good tacklers, but with a physical presence who can also cover. He can cover extremely well.
So well.
Yeah.
He's the highest rated coverage safety right now in the entire FCS. That's what the grading says. And so, he can absolutely cover really well.
Right. And so, when you ask him to drop down and cover a number 2 or number 3 receiver or a tight end in the slot, man to man, that's something that you don't get a lot of at probably the FCS level. It's safety. It's kind of like Keon Loud outside. You can go man and count on a couple of guys being taken away. when you want to pressure with your D-line and linebackers.
So then when it comes to this matchup, it was funny interviewing Thomas Ford today. We do a weekly Vandals weekly podcast every week, so I've gotten to know him pretty well. But the one moment when I asked him, I said, so tell me about preparing for the Griz defense. And he's like, you got any ideas? He's like, it's total chaos, man. He's like, all of our rules and all these things, like, you gap scheme them, okay, they don't play gaps. You want to do this, they don't do that. Like, you got to just be ready for it. He's like, I don't know what to say other than our guys just have to be on high alert for pure chaos. So I find that probably the most compelling part of this matchup. A lot of people are going to talk about the quarterbacks. Ayat's playing great. I think Joshua Wood's playing great. I think that both those guys are going to be able to move the ball. But to me, it comes down to Idaho. I think has one of the best offensive lines in the league and probably in the country. Honestly,
in the country, I would think too. Yeah.
They got veterans. Those guys are good. I think they're well coached, and they're going to have to handle as we used to call it, the heavy metal defense of Montana, right? Like just bringing all the chaos. So break down that part of it for us.
Oh man, that's a full question. So first on that, like you said with Coach Ford asking him, it is chaos, man. They even when they bring 4 and just do a regular 4-man rush, it's how they're getting there. It's just like
where they're coming from.
Where's the 4th coming? And it screws the count up and who the center is or the quarterback, whoever's in charge of protection, who they're miking, and what side of the line's playing zone, what side of the line's playing man. And I mean, they're always moving. So how do you get your rules down to where it's almost just like, okay, we're going to have an area and we're going to be responsible for this area and we got to get the ball out quick. So when you see teams, that's what I think you're going to probably see a lot of, because Montana's going to bring over 50% of the time, they're going to bring 5 or 6. And obviously when they're bringing 6, it's 0 and they're counting the ball coming out right now. So you're probably not going to see a lot of drop back passing game. The ball's going to be coming out quick. That's what I think that they're going to probably do. First and foremost with Idaho, they're obviously going to want to control the clock. And I think if I'm Coach Ford, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to establish a run game.
Yeah.
And get into, if I do get into 3rd downs, it better be 3rd and 4 or less, because if I'm in 3rd and 4 plus, it's going to be a long day at the office, because there's going to be a lot of heat coming. You can't heat a team up as much when it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3 short, because there's just too many creases. And I mean, it just those quick hitting running plays. So I think that we're going to see a lot of run game early, a lot of them chewing the clock. And then if they do take a shot downfield, it's going to be max pro with tight end back or 2 backs, or like 0-2 personnel with 2 tight ends just sitting in like the hanger positions and just sitting there to protect, and maybe like some 1-man routes deep. That's what I think they're going to have to do to take their shots, because they're not going to have time to get the ball off if they try to protect with 6. And then some scat release stuff with the back to try to get guys peeling on pressure. And so that's what I think you'll see from Idaho. If you're Montana, I don't think they're going to change a damn thing. They're going to bring heat. And if you get creased, they're going to bring heat the next play. They're not going to, when the game's on the line, they're going to bring heat. One thing I think you might see a wrinkle of is maybe some like 3-man rush, drop 8, like just to try to fool them. That's what we used to do at Miami when you played Tom Brady, just because you try to get it out so quick, and then you drop 8 and make them hold it. And then, so there's a long answer to your question.
Meeting her stopped your world. The ring you give her should stop her heart.
Tina, will you marry me?
Not again! Don't worry, I'm gonna fix this, because we want to be your jeweler on our beautiful diamond! Clear! Come back to me, Tina!
Are you okay?
Thanks so much for listening to our Big Sky Breakdown podcast series and for tuning into our Skyline Sports YouTube channel. If you have not, please rate, review, and subscribe. Particularly subscribe. Click on the subscribe button. That helps us out a ton. Thanks to our great partners who help make all of this content possible, including Ty Hobbs at Keller Williams Real Estate. Ty's a great friend of mine, guy I lift weights with in the mornings, and a guy I golf with as much as I can, but he's also an ace realtor. I did not choose him as my realtor because he's my friend, although that was a big perk. He is excellent when it comes to everything from efficiency to negotiation to no frills, no BS. He got our house on the market and got it sold in less than 24 hours, more like 4 hours. It was an impressive turnaround. He got us exactly the contract that we wanted. We needed to stay in our house for a couple months because we had a new build coming up. He negotiated that flawlessly. The negotiation part is the number one reason why we chose Ty, but he also has a great acumen when it comes to construction, building, remodels. We had a flood in our house that I needed help with repairing. Boom. He helped me out. Awesome service, awesome job. And if you're in the market for a realtor, Ty Hobbs is your guy. Let's hear more about the current real estate market from the man himself. So let's start with, how would you characterize the real estate market currently in both Missoula and Western Montana?
Well, currently in Missoula, we've seen a rise in inventory and buyer activity slow down a little bit. So it's turning more into a buyer's market, more than I've probably ever seen in the last 10 years or so.
So what does that mean, a buyer's market? How would you define that?
A buyer's market is really just means that there's more homes for sale than there are buyer demand. So buyers have choices, especially in negotiations.
And that means less leverage for somebody that's selling their house, more leverage for somebody that's tried to buy a house, correct?
Correct. More leverage for buyers.
Okay, so if you are a buyer and you hire you as your realtor, how do you go about then sort of taking advantage of that said advantage?
Well, right now you have the upper hand in negotiations, right? And first we start with the CMA and get a value and see where that price falls in, or where the value is for the buyers. And then there's other things that we can negotiate, such as like seller concessions to help buy down the interest rate or give you a temporary break or relief on an interest rate to help with that monthly payment. So
if people want to find out about that and other listings that you have, how do they find them?
Best way is just get a hold of me by phone, 406-544-9794.
No, I love it, and I think that's exactly how it's going to be. Last thing, what do you think of just the state of this rivalry? Because this is interesting. Your time with the Griz, Idaho was not a non-factor because Idaho, they tapped out. They tapped out of the Little Brown Stein. They said, we don't want to do it anymore. They were tired of losing to an FCS team when they were FBS.
FBS.
Right? But now it's back. And, I thought it was a shame that they didn't play last year because 2022 was, instant classic.
Yeah.
Jason Eck getting a win in Missoula. Then 2023, instant classic. Houck gets his revenge. They went on this crazy, end of game scenario. You have to run that thing back last year. I couldn't believe they did it, but now it is back. And, talking to those Idaho guys, they're hungry as hell coming into Missoula. And I know the Missoula guys, the Montana guys are hungry too. So just what do you think of just like the rivalry element and, being on national TV and all these different factors?
It is a shame though that, look, I get the conference is the size that it is and you don't play everybody like you used to when we were in school. So when you have a rivalry though, and it's Idaho and it's the Stein, I mean
it goes back to 1903, bro. Like you got to play
exactly
that game.
1903, in which Idaho leads the series. You go back to 1903, and then obviously the last 15 years it's been grossly lopsided by Montana. But why don't you play if it's a rivalry game? The other rivalry game is Montana State. Why don't you play this? I mean, this has been huge. This has been around damn near as long, I think it's a shame that they don't play it every year. So I think it's great that it's back in Missoula this year, and I think it's going to be highly competitive. It's national TV. It's 4-5 against 7-10. I mean, call it 4-7. I mean, it's huge playoff implications. It's seeding. It's everything that you want if you're an athlete that comes to Montana, or you're an athlete that's at Idaho coming into Montana to play and have an opportunity to be, I mean, just that much better as a team for your season, you name it. It's a it's as big as they get, man. This is a big ass matchup. I mean, this is the biggest game that's been here since North Dakota State played in the semis. So,
yeah, I'm fired up, man. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be
rocking.
It's gonna be super fun at Washington Grizzly Stadium on Saturday night. So, what's your deal? So, you're not on the call this week, right?
Yeah, I gotta be.
So you get to go like stand in the stands, or what are you gonna do?
Yeah. It'll be fun. I haven't decided if I'm gonna go in the stands or on the field or watch it at home. Hell, I don't know, man.
All right.
We'll see.
Well, let me know. I'll be between the stands and the press box if you want to hang out.
Okay.
Excuse me, between the field and the press box, not the stands. I never get to go in the stands. I'll be either the north or south end zones or up in the press box. So
for sure. Yeah, it'll be fun. I think that there's a few different times that talk about the broadcast that we played against Chase and those guys when he was the quarterback, and I don't think he ever started any of the games. I mean, that guy had a nice long career. I've actually had a chance to listen to a couple of the games that he's called. I think they do a good job. I think he'll do a really good job.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's ESPN, man, they always do a good job. So I think that they have a fun game to call, though. It's going to be rocking and rolling in that place at 8 o'clock at night. People are going to be out having a good time all day long. Like they always
know.
Going to be nice and lubed up for the game. And
yes, sir.
They'll be rolling in there. So it's going to be fun, man. I'm excited.
Well, good, man. Well, thanks for being here this weekend. We'll catch up.
Yeah, thanks for having me.